another problem from the one and only LeetCode, and the name of the problem is countAndSay, and it says the countAndSay sequence is the sequence of integer with the first 5 terms as following: 1 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1. So I did read the description of this problem first. So basically the sequence is you start with an 1, and then you're reading basically how many of each there are, and you're writing it in digits. So if you're reading 1, you can see there's 1 of 1, so you put 1 1, and then in here you can see there's 2 of 1, so you put 2 1. Now here you can see there's 1 of 2 and 1 of 1, and so on. So what they want us to do is given number n that's between 1 and 30, including 1 and 30. But this doesn't really matter. If you do one that can do this, you can do one for any n. It says generate the nth term of the countAndSay sequence. So I will go to Visual Studio, and what I'm thinking is we first want to basically solve how we're gonna get the next in the sequence, and once we have that, then we can use that as many times as we need, starting from 1 to get the nth element. So I will say this list string equals 1 of 1 and 2 of 1, maybe 1 of 1, 2 of 1, yeah, that should be fine. Or should I try 1 of 2 and 1 of 1? Let's do this. Yeah. So then I want to also get an array from this. So I'll say let array equal strings split. So this is basically we'll put all the different numbers in elements in an array. And now I will do this with a reduce, and I will explain after I write part of the reduce what I'm basically doing. So I will say array reduce, and here I will get the accumulator and the current term, and the function that transforms it, and we will basically so let's say now let string equal array reduce. We'll basically reduce it to an object that has a count, which basically counts. This is like a counter, and this will start with 0. Then we will have the current value, which basically the current value will go through all the elements one by one, and it will take all the different values at some point. So this one will start with the first number of the array. So we'll say that current is array of 0, and then we will have a new string which will start with an empty string, right? And what I want to do is basically I'm gonna go through this, and every time when I find one that is equal with the current, I'm just increasing the count. Once I find one that's different, I'm gonna add to the new string. I will say new string equals new string plus count, how many it counted, and plus current. So it will be that many of this. So it will add that many of this every time to the new string. So how will this look? It will be something like this: if current equals accumulator current, then we want just to increase the count. accumulator count equals accumulator count plus 1, yes. Okay, and if not, else, what we want to do is basically give the new value of the string. So we'll say accumulator new string equals accumulator new string plus accumulator count plus accumulator current, right? And now what we want to do, we will say accumulator current equals current. So we'll basically saying now the current one is the new value that we encounter, and we will start comparing the next values to this new current value. And we also want to put the count not as 0, we will put it as 1 because we are already on this new value. So we will say accumulator count equals 1, right? And after all this, we want to say return accumulator. If you need to look a little bit about how reducers work to understand this reducer, I highly recommend watching some videos about well, not reducer, about the reduce method, because it's super helpful. So then at the end, we don't want the string to actually have this this object as the value. We want it to have the value of the new string. So we will say that, so whatever we get from this reduce, that new string. So here we will get the new string, right? So let's copy this in the console of the Google Chrome and see if we did it correctly. Well, it will not be correctly, but I will explain you why. String has already been declared. What? Oh, the problem is here I'm doing let again. Okay, so actually to explain what's happening and why it's not really correct like that, I will just say this so we can see the object, right? So if you look in the object now, if I give it this value and we're going at the problem 1 2 1 1, is this what the 1 2 1 1, the next term should be 1 1 1 2 and 2 1, but basically here we're getting just 1 1 and 1 2. And what's happening is, because at the end we were supposed to also add these 2 ones that remained, because this current value will never encounter a new different value, so we will never add this to the string, right? So if you see 1 1 1 2, if we add 2 1, it will be exactly like this one. So in here, what we want to do, we also want to say we want to add the index of the element which we are checking, right? And we will say if the index is if the element is the last, so if index equals array length -1, then also here we want to do this one, right? So now if I copy this, let me change this so we don't get that error again, and delete this. Actually we can leave it now. So if you say this now, refresh, we are getting the correct value. So now we have the code that we need to go from one element to another. So what we want to do now is just copy the starting function. We could write one, but why not? Let's just copy it. And what we want to say well, we want to copy this in there, right? And we want to say let start equal 1 and let string equals 1, because we start with the element 1, and then we want to say we want to say while start less than n, we want to do this. We want to say this, right? We want to say let array equal blah blah blah, and and here at the end, so we want to do this, and here at the end we want to increase the start, because every time we're doing it once, we want to increase it, so at some point we will be just at n-1. We don't want to be equal with n, because then it will generate the next element, so we just want let's start just 1 less than n. So we want to say here start plus plus. So this should work. Let's copy this problem in here and let's say run code. Oh, we haven't returned. So at the end we want to return basically the string, right? Because if you're not returning, you're not getting nothing, right? Copy again and run code. Right, so says correct. Let's submit. That's pretty good. I mean, I don't really trust these ones, because sometimes when you're submitting solution, it says something, sometimes it says something else, and like it probably depends on how fast their servers are. So I don't really trust this, but I'm pretty sure this is a pretty good solution. So I hope you understand everything that I explained. If not, please feel free to leave a comment or reach out to me, and I'll try to explain it better for you. Have a good day, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and maybe leave a comment. It will keep me motivated to make more of these videos. Thank you. Bye.